Hello, my dear students who are going to appear tomorrow in Paper 1 Cambridge IGCSE English as Second Language 051005110993 and others. So, all those who have their Paper 1 tomorrow, it's reading and writing paper. So, what you can do in these last hours before your exam, before your Paper 1. So, after careful reading of all the available Cambridge content like the answers of specimen paper and other Cambridge sample responses, candidate responses that were issued by Cambridge, like the high, medium, and the below, like low response that secured like 7 marks or maybe 10, and the accident response that secured 15 marks. So in those files, as you know, there are also Cambridge examiners comments in like how students could improve their answers and other things. After careful reading of all that stuff, and in light of the experience that I have after teaching a lot of students from different countries of the world for Cambridge and Pearson and Excel English, so I have brought here for you in these last hours a very quick revision of the whole syllabus and the important exam tips that you need to be careful about related to all questions in your paper 1. Let's have a quick revision. Let me show you a file that I have made some notes for you. Hopefully the file will be visible for you now. Let's see this and discuss it. So as you can see here, the verbs are not always required. So in exercise 1, as you know, exercise 1 is related to simple comprehension questions where you have 6 questions actually. The first 5 questions are very simple. You just have to give very brief answer. You just need to add the keyword in the answer and not the full sentence, because full sentences are generally not required in this in these questions, and verbs are also always not required to have full. So in the first 5 questions, giving answers is really simple. Now, but avoid adding too much information, because if you will give there too much information, so it can sometime negate your correct answer. Adding too much information, extra information, can sometimes negate your correct answer. It can make your correct answer incorrect. And do not simply add like do not simply study or read the exact words that you find, what we call the word spotting. Do not look at only the single word or even the single sentence. Rather, look at the whole paragraph, because there can be some distracting information as well. So you need to be careful about the distractors in this exercise. In the final question, however, you need to be ready to have a full understanding of the whole text, because the 3 points being required here in question 6 can be anywhere in the text. So you need combining information technique here as well, how to combine those points in your answer, but remain very brief. Do not add full sentences. Let's move to exercise 2. Exercise 2 has always been confusing for many of the students and have been challenging for many of the students. So let's discuss this one. For each question, candidates should underline the key words in the question. So first you need to underline the keywords in the question, but think about the idea. Do not start looking for the same words in the text to find the answers. It is particularly important to recognize those words which indicate that the answer could be in the form of an opinion, attitude, or implied meaning. And simply looking for the keyword and finding the answer can confuse you. Be careful about the potential distractors as well, and read more than simply that words around. Read the whole paragraph where you think that answer can be found here. Errors occurs when a section of the text is selected which refers to only one part of the question. For example, if the question asks you what are the effects on writer by cooking a unique dish, So you have to find two things: unique dish and the effects on the writer. If you just look for one thing and you select that paragraph to be the right answer for this exercise, you might be wrong. So this exercise is really tricky, the exercise too, but remaining careful about selecting the idea from the question's keywords and finding the idea where that is in which paragraph and selecting that paragraph that here it found. So it's not about the words, it's about the idea that is there in each statement that you have to match with the particular paragraph and write A, B, C, D. Let's now move to the discussion of exercise 3. Exercise 3, most of the students find very easy. You do not need to change the words. You can give it in the exact words of the text. So avoid unnecessary words. But there is one interesting thing in this notes completion task. In this notes completion task, you have, if you give 2 points on the same line in the same sentence, you will just get 1 mark. So if you have to write 3 points in a notes completion task, keep your 3 points separately on three different lines. Okay, and in exercise 3, write everything within the space provided. No need to paraphrase the notes point that you are going to add in this answers of this exercise. Then exercise 4, that is an MCQs exercise, and you actually have to do there, what you have to do, you have to match the factual information, but it's not only always the factual details that you can easily find. It can be related to the ideas, opinions, and implied meanings as well. So you need to be very careful here again. So again, do not simply pick one word, just try to read the whole sentence or even the whole paragraph to have the proper understanding of the text. Okay, key information can be a paraphrase of the wording of the response. Now, if you feel that you find an answer or even the question statement, question prompt, there can be a paraphrasing of the information, not you will find exactly the same words. So students who lose mark in exercise 2 and 4 get confused. They keep finding the same words or same sentence in the text, but it can be the paraphrasing of the main text. Or you can be asked actually your ability to identify the opinions, ideas, attitudes, and implies meaning. Information is not always there explicitly stated, but it can be related to implied meaning as well. So this 30 marks section reading completes here. Now let's move to the remaining 30 marks writing section. That is very important, related regarding your overall grade of this paper 1 in IGCSE English as second language. So some instructions are very general to related to all the writing sections, that are like using wide range of vocabulary and using wide range of grammatical structure and punctuation as well, using also less common or like high vocabulary words, and also using wide range of vocabulary words. But do not be over obsessed with that. Like if you use it excessively, sometime you will use punctuation marks where they are not needed. So be careful about that as well. Okay, let's now specifically talk about exercise 5, that is email writing. This is an informal email writing, so do not add the subject line, do not add like some students write there to and then the name of the receiver. So you don't need to do that. Just begin with hi and then friend's first name and comma. Then begin with an introduction. Introduction should be very, very smart, very brief, precise. Try to write in fewest possible words because you have just 120 to 160 word limit. You have to finish within that. After one or two sentence introduction, you need a transition line. For example, when you say, "Oh, we have not contacted each other for a long time. However, anyhow, I wanted to tell you. Anyhow, I just wanted to share with you." So you need to maintain overall an informal tone, an informal register. So overall, you need to maintain an informal tone, informal style. So anyhow, I just wanted to share with you this type of transition line you should add to make the text coherent and smooth after introduction. Then make three very short paragraphs. In each paragraph, discuss the 3 bullet points given in the question prompt. As you will see in the question prompts, 3 bullet points are given that you need to address about the topic. Read the question rubric very carefully to address the same thing. Then the conclusion should be just 1 or 2 sentences, not longer than that. You can end up with the phrases and expressions like homework calls and then X sign of exclamation. So you can use these type of hyphens and exclamation sign. These informal punctuation marks you can use to maintain a conversational tone, to maintain the informal style. Then you can just end up with these sign offs with love, then comma, and then your name. If you want to see more sign offs and greetings and salutations, you can watch our other video that contained a lot of vocabulary on email writing. And also there is vocabulary on report writing and vocabulary on other types of writing you can find in our YouTube channel. Then comes exercise 6. Exercise 6, as you know, there can be several other type of writing tasks can be there, like the report writing. So let's discuss quickly one by one each one's format. But before that, there are some general instructions related to all type of writing tasks in exercise 6. The first thing is that when you are given 4 comments to provide you some information to be added, you get your content points from these comments. So do not use them as they are. You need to develop those points or extend those points by adding your own ideas as well. Okay? They should not be just copied, but addition of your own points, and you should develop those points and extend them. Relevant content, wide range of vocabulary, structure, punctuation marks, the general things. Let's now first talk about the report writing. In report, you should use headings and subheadings as well. First introduction, then the main body, that you can divide it into 2 paragraphs, positive and negative points, where you can add what you learned, what you experienced, your thoughts about the thing, and also the lacking and drawbacks and negative things. In introduction, what should you write in the introductory paragraph? So in introduction, you can talk about the purpose of report writing, you can talk about how you collected data, and you can describe the event you are writing a report about in one short sentence, like what it was, where it happened. Then the positive things, you can add positive things or what you learned or experienced, you can add there. You could transitional words, linking words and phrases. You can begin like some of us experienced, some of us were amazed at. You can begin your paragraph positive point with these phrases, and the paragraph of your negative points you can begin with like some of us were disappointed at. Then comes your recommendation and suggestion section, where you can give your recommendation and suggestions for improvement. You can use good, like if it could be used this way or that way. Okay, so you can use these type of structures actually, how to use them well actually. So in recommendation and suggestions, you can use various structures how to give recommendation or suggestion. Use humble structure. Overall in report, use passive voice structures like it was seen, it was learned, to maintain the objectivity of report writing. And your tone should be formal one in report. Although reports are written for can be single audience, or but it is a public document that can be observed to make policies and make judgments and other things. So you should maintain the formality. And report is a mixture of fact and opinion. So in opinion, you give your recommendation and suggestions. All right. Then let's talk about, because it's short, very short time, it was just a quick revision session. So let's move to the review. If you want detailed things, you can have an online appointment with us to have one-on-one session to explore deep learning. Let's move to the next one, that is the review writing. Now in review, you can just bring the first introduction paragraph, then description, then opinion, and then recommendation. In introduction, you will bring the things like what are you reviewing, like where it is, what is that thing. In description, you can describe its location, its other feature. For example, it's a review of a restaurant, you can add its staff behavior, its menu, its services, facilities. And the third opinion paragraph, you can give your opinion, your comments, how you felt that, like it was the things were overpriced or the food was not well served or anything. And in the last paragraph, you give your recommendation whether you recommend this thing or not. You can partially recommend it and partially not by saying, for example, you can say, this restaurant is recommended for those who like fast food but not those who love natural foods, like that. You can also add your suggestions for the management how they could improve their services or how they could make it better. You need to revise in these last exam hours, just revise your grammatical structures that you will be using in recommendation section, your introductory phrases, expressions that you will be using in the beginning of different paragraphs. Then comes the article writing. Let's move on quickly. Our time is ending. You just have to revise all your vocabulary notes and other things, structures and formats as well. So article can be informative, it can be persuasive depending on the topic. So you should be using a very catchy title for it, and good paragraphing should be there, dividing each paragraph well. When to end up one paragraph and begin the other one, you need to be very careful about that. How to divide the content into different paragraphs. There should be cohesion and coherence. All the things must be in well like a connection. There should not be like distorted or random or abrupt beginning of each paragraph. In article, like you will of course first bring the introduction, like introducing the topic, but be very brief because you just have 120 to 160 words limit. So be very brief in your conclusion and intro. The conclusion should refer back to the intro, like you will conclude what you think about the topic, what point of view you are presenting. And if you write discursively, then you give one opinion in the favor of the topic, the other paragraph should be against that. So you will be giving both opinions, and in a balanced way you write article and leave to your audience to decide. So, whatever argument you make in your article, you should give evidence, examples, details to support your argument or point of view. Last thing is essay. Essay is very much similar with the article. Is a type of actually article that can appear in your exam. So take good input from the comments point that are given there. Essay is more subjective than the article. So essay is the personal stance of the writer. So essay is your personal view on something. That's why we have famous essays by Francis Bacon. If you read now in these last exam hours, just read a few of Bacon's essay of truth, of friendship, or a few others, just to get how precise you can be while writing an essay and how to maintain the tone of an essay. An essay is always written in a formal style and your personal stance on something. Here again you have introduction, the main body and conclusion. In the main body you can divide into two paragraphs, giving two arguments separately, supported by evidence, examples and details. But you can also be like in one paragraph of the main body you are writing again in the favor of the topic, in the other against the topic. Is your if you're writing discursively, giving a balanced viewpoint, like something but other may think people are of the view, those who are in favor of this will say. Or even if your own tone writing in the first person pronoun, you can also do like that. So this was a very general, the quick revision. Again, you have 15 marks for this exercise, 6 questions. There can be report, essay, article or review, one of them. And now you should read the candidate sample responses issued by Cambridge. Also see the Cambridge endorsed book. There are a lot of sample essays in these activities you can quick. If you need any notes in these last exam hours, just WhatsApp me and I will share with you all the files available. Then that can make actually your exam preparation wonderful. So in these last hours, just have a quick revision of all the stuff that you have, and especially the words, phrases and expressions that you will be using in the different sections of your writing task. Thank you for watching. Wish you very best of luck for the exam tomorrow. Take care.